All right, real quick. Follow the Real Talk Sports Podcast on Instagram at Real Talk Sports Pod. You can also find us on Twitter and TikTok. Be sure to subscribe here on Spotify and download this episode. We're also now on YouTube, so search the Real Talk Sports Podcast Week 1 Sunday slate and give a listen. And if you're listening from YouTube, well, thank you. Today I'm joined by two friends. One's a Bucs fan and one is unfortunately a Bears fan. Nico, Stacy, and Trevor Chanel. How are you guys doing today, boys?
Jason, I'm doing well today. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Nico, how you doing?
It's always a good time when you invite me on the podcast. Glad to be here again.
Yeah, Nico, welcome back to the pod. And Trevor, it's your first time on the podcast, so welcome. Many more times to be. Happy weekend, guys. How are y'all feeling today?
Good. It's Friday. Got to watch probably the game of the year, first game of the season. I'm ready for Sunday already.
Absolutely. Trevor, I'm loving that tropical background. That's looking good on the Zoom, man.
Jason, it just fits my profile. It fits my current style of living. As to how I'm feeling today, I'm feeling pretty juicy after last night's Bucs victory.
Yeah.
A little juicy today. Got a little juice in here myself.
Yes, sir.
But I'm feeling good after a Bucs victory.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So let's go ahead and talk about that game. I'm gonna throw out some stats for the two quarterbacks. Tom Brady, 32-50, 379 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a QBR of 65.3. Then we had Dak on the other hand, 42 for 58, 403 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, and a QBR of 74.3. This was a great game, and Dak looked really good for his first game back since week 5 of last season. How did y'all feel about this game?
Honestly, I loved it. I love to see Dak coming back to true form. I've been saying this entire offseason, Dak Prescott's going to be comeback player of the year. He's going to throw for over 5,000 yards this season. And starting the season off with over 400 yards, I think I'm looking good on that bet.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely are.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Nico. I'm excited to see Dak Prescott come back. I know he was going up against the Bucs, so I was hoping he didn't have the craziest game of all time, but I'm glad he still, performed the way he should.
Yeah, some guys that stuck out for me, Antonio Brown, 5 receptions, 121 yards, 1 touchdown on 7 targets. He looked really good, and it's looking like, and you mentioned this a little before we started recording, Trevor, he might be that wide receiver 1. How do you feel about that?
It's tough in Tampa Bay's offense. You got 3 crazy WR1s, right? I think, after seeing training camp, seeing what he did last night, seeing the connection he has with Tom Brady, I know it's a bold statement, but I think Antonio Brown takes the WR1 in Tampa Bay this year.
I mean, that's fair. It's fair. Yeah, and another person who really surprised me, was Gronk. I mean, 8 receptions, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns on 8 targets. The man did his job, and I mean, yeah, like you said, that Bucs offense, man, it's just so many people. It's one thing about it is like fantasy wise too, it's boom bust, right? You don't know if Gronk's going to do that every game. He put up like 22 points, was on a lot of people's bench, but that's the Bucs defense, man. You don't know, or offense, excuse me. You don't know what you're going to get.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of the Bucs defense, fantasy wise, number 1 defense in the league this year, finished off with -3 points. I found that very surprising. I think the main reason it was a very pass oriented game. Dak Prescott and Tom Brady both had over 50 attempts in the air. So it wasn't very run heavy. You saw Zeke, Rojo, Fournette, all with, 35 yards or less. So it was a very pass oriented game. You had 4 different receivers with over 100 yards, 2 on each side. Right.
Yeah.
I think that's just how their style of play. But you're right. Gronk was on the bench against a couple of my opponents. He's considered, a tight end too. Mm-hmm. Most leagues, but he definitely killed it last night.
He did. So let's not just focus on the Bucs though, right? The Cowboys, they looked good too. I'll give them credit where credit is due. The Cowboys looked good. By the way, do either of y'all have Dallas to win the NFC East?
How
about preseason and then now?
Next question.
So it's a no. Okay. Now I do not either. I have the Washington football team, but I'm going to give – Michael Gallup, he is out for 3 to 5 weeks. He sprained his calf. That will hurt them a little bit, but they looked better than last season. So I like their chances a little more. We'll see how they do moving forward. Obviously, first game, the Bucs had some costly penalties, miscues on defense, but nevertheless, I am impressed with the Cowboys from last night.
I think the big X factor for the Cowboys, if they do want to take that division, is going to be Micah Parsons. He's going to need to get comfortable in the NFL and become a field general on that defense. He and the rest of the linebackers, I'm sorry to say, were getting embarrassed on play action. If they could figure that out, which I'm sure they were, there's always some hiccups in week one. And yeah, the Washington football team will have a run for their money this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that Micah Parsons point, that's a great point. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Today we are covering sports betting, man. It's back. My wallet is ready to get hurt again. I love it, man. Let's go. We're going to cover some money lines, spreads, over-unders for all of these games this coming Sunday. Week 1 is approaching. It is here already, but we got many more games to come. We're going to get into it, and we're going to start with the Jets visiting the Carolina Panthers. The money line is set at in favor of the Panthers -200. The Jets are set at +110. The spread is -4 in favor of the Panthers, and the over/under total is set at 45. Which way are you guys leaning for this game, and what do you like here?
Well, I'll let you go first, Trevor.
Okay, I'll take this one. I'm definitely leaning towards the Panthers on this one. I think everyone is excited to see CMC back in action. I'm definitely excited. He's an RB1 on one of my teams as well, first pick in the draft. But also the Jets, you got a brand new head coach, never been a head coach before, and then you have a rookie quarterback that hasn't proven himself yet. And then on the other side, you got Christian McCaffrey, you got Sam Darnold trying to prove himself. I got the Panthers here, and I don't think it's going to be close, in my opinion.
So you like them -4 then, all right?
I agree.
Nico, how are you feeling on it?
So, an initial look of this game, obviously I was on the Panthers. I actually originally took this line down at -5, and I still like the Panthers. I figured they'd win by touchdown. Sam Darnold kind of gets to stick it to the Jets after they gave up to him. I love that idea.
Yeah.
But diving in a little deeper, I follow a bunch of degenerates when it comes to gambling, but I also follow a bunch of sharp bettors when it comes to gambling. And one interesting fact I heard was teams from the previous season in week 1 that had 6 or less wins, meaning the Jets, that are road underdogs in week 1 were actually 81-40 against the spread, meaning the Jets, they fit that description. They have a very good chance of covering that now 4 number solely based off of that fact. I'm a big random stat guy. I used to bet based off of humidity in baseball, and it worked wonders for me. So I had a flip.
That's awesome.
If I were going to the window with this one, I'd take the Jets. If I were doing a survivor pool, I'd take the Jets. I'm not putting my real money on it, though.
Okay, so you're just going to lean Jets +4 then?
I think I'm going to lean Jets +4.
Yeah. Okay, so this is basically how I'm approaching it. So speaking on the total, I'm avoiding the over/under 45 basically because I don't know what we're going to get out of Zach Wilson. Obviously, he's got a lot of hype. People love him, saying he's a generational talent. You don't know how it's going to go. And same with Sam Darnold. He does have a lot to prove. So I'm going to let these guys play it out, see how they do. So I'm going to avoid the total. This is not a best bet for me, but I'm going to lean towards the Panthers -4. I think the Panthers should get it done. I like their offense. I think Sam Darnold will bounce back this year.
Like it.
Yeah. You guys like it? A little awkward pause.
I'm there with you on that one. Yep.
All right. So basically we got 2 guys for the Panthers and 1 with the Jets. Nico, I do appreciate your statistic or whatever you called it.
Random fact
bets. Yeah. You did that last time. I like it. I mean, that's a good way to bet. I kind of a little different style, but if it works for you, it works for you, right?
Hey, so you find something that works and you stick with that system until it doesn't.
Absolutely, man. So we got the Panthers there. 2 of 3 of us have the Panthers -4. We are going to avoid that win or that total. So let's move on, and this is going to be a great game. The Steelers going into Buffalo to take on Josh Allen and the Bills. We got the Bills in favor at -320 on the money line. Pittsburgh Steelers at +250. The spread is set at 6.5, and the over/under is 48.5. What do you guys like here?
Nico, take it away here.
All right, I guess I'll go first. So this game is probably going to be one of my more intriguing games to watch in that 1:00 slot. I love watching both teams. They both have great opportunities, great talent. I'm really curious to see how Najee Harris does in the real season, and I'm really curious to see that Steelers defense go up against that absolutely amazing offense in Buffalo. The way that I'm going to lean is I'm going to actually take the over. The one thing about week 1 is they put these betting lines out so far in advance that it gives the public as well as sharp bettors so much time to move these lines. This line actually opened up at 51 points, and it got bet down all the way to 48.5. That is way too much droppage for me to be satisfied with going on the under for it. I get it. 2 decent defenses, yada, yada, whatever you want to say. No run game last year for the Steelers. Not even really a run game for the Bills. But what, a whole 3 points, whole 3.5 points? Give me the over. I'll take the over 48 all day long, and I will fall asleep before that game ends knowing I locked that in.
All right, that sounds solid. Yeah, I'm actually on the opposite side of that win total. And like you said, it's the 2 good defenses. I don't know. Will we see Josh Allen regress a little bit? Will he show a sign of it? I don't know. I don't love it, so it's definitely not a best bet. I don't love it, but I would lean if I had to under 48.5 right there. How are you feeling about that, Trevor?
Well, here's what I'll say is that the Bills obviously on the rise after a terrible couple of decades of football, right? Josh Allen is great. Stephon Diggs, great. Obviously, they're the favorite in this game, but I have the Pittsburgh Steelers on upset alert this week. I think they're going to take down the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo, and I'll tell you why. Ben Roethlisberger is going to have a couple TD passes, one to Deontay Johnson. Is that his name? Forgot.
You got him on your fantasy, don't you?
I do. So hoping for the TD there. I think Juju might have a TD as well. I think
TikTok
100+ yard game, and I think we are all excited to see what the infamous Najee Harris, however you pronounce it, is in the RB slot. I think he's going to have a breakout game. I think he's a little overrated as a rookie on the draft boards, but I think he's got the talent to make it happen. So I
agree.
This game upsetting the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo.
I just don't like the O-line, man. I don't think the Steelers are going to pull out an upset in Buffalo, especially if it was in Pittsburgh, then maybe, but not in Buffalo.
So would you take the 6.5 though, Jace?
That's also a spread that I'm staying away from because I think it could be a close game. Also with me thinking that it could go under. Yeah, I think it's going to be a battle of defense on Sunday. I'm picking the Bills, but I don't know. It's a little sketchy for me, so I am looking to stay away from this game.
I agree with you on the Bills winning. I do like everything you're saying, Trevor, and that's why I'm picking the over. But I do like the Bills to win this game. However, I don't want to lay 6.5 points. I'm not going to give away my other one, but one thing that I do, and I do it a lot in the beginning of the season when I'm trying to figure out teams, bet teasers. 6-point teasers. You pick 2 teams. You don't have to lay juice that way. You just need both of them to hit. Yeah. So if you do a 6-point teaser and tease Buffalo down to 0.5 point, you just need them to win the game. And I think that is the perfect piece. You pass the 6 number, you pass the 4 number, and you pass the 3 number. All very key numbers for betting. And it's the perfect first piece for your teaser on Sunday.
Teasers are the move, bro. I love teasers. Love teasers. I love getting the points in my favor. Anything left to be said on this game, fellas?
No, but I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great game, man. I'm excited.
Watches this.
I mean, if you hit my line, if you they upset, man, tell me I told you so. But I just don't see it happening, truthfully. All right, so here's a game coming up that we should all be on the same page for. That is the San Francisco 49ers going into Detroit to take off Jared Goff and his new team. So the 49ers are road favorites, -365 on the money line. Lions +280. The line has changed against the spread since yesterday. It is now at -8 in favor of the 49ers. Over-under is set at 46 as well. How are you guys feeling about this one?
Well, To be honest, I thought we were going to go through a couple games before this one. That's actually the second game in my teaser. You're passing every single key number by teasing them. They're currently at what? Are they at 8 now, or are they still at 7?
They're at 8.
They're at 8 now. So you do a 6-point teaser. You still pass all 4 key numbers, 7, 6, 4, and 3. You bring them down to 2. You're playing the lowly Lions. And not only are they playing the lowly Lions, but they're playing the Lions with Jared Goff. Jared Goff was in the 49ers division. The 49ers are not unfamiliar with Jared Goff at all, because they know exactly how to stop this guy.
That's a great point.
I am totally confident in the 49ers winning, blowing out, doing whatever. Take the team total over, take the Lions team total over. Any bet that goes in the 49ers' favor, take it and cash it.
Yeah. I agree.
I would definitely agree. There's a lot of controversy or a lot of stuff going on in the works of, DeAndre Swift and Jared Goff new with the Lions. We don't know. Is that yep, that's the right game. Sorry. No, but I'm excited to see George Kittle back on the field. I think Brandon to have a good game. I'm excited to see a little Jimmy G action this is a no-brainer. 49ers all day.
Absolutely no-brainer. I am going to take the 49ers -8 as a best bet. If you how do you guys feel about me putting that as a best bet? -8, you guys like that?
I'll take that all day.
I mean, I told you I love it. Laying 8 as a best bet is definitely intriguing
now,
to me.
What I will
like
say
I said,
about
I'll take that to the bank all day.
What I will say about this best bet is, of my 4 best bets, this is my least favorite, and that is because of the 8. Okay, but I'm just going to keep it as a best bet. I almost put Panthers -4 as one. So in terms of leans, Panthers -4, that is my favorite one. 49ers -8, best bet, but my least favorite best bet, if that makes sense.
Fair enough.
I think that's probably also the most public bet of the weekend.
Yeah, it's just the Lions, man, and Jared Goff is so unpopular now. Like, everyone's going to be hammering the 49ers. It's just, well, I mean, sometimes it's fade the public. So I don't know, maybe you might want, I'm not going to contradict myself, actually. So let's just keep it moving. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer heading into Houston to take on the Deshaun Watson-less Texans. Tyrod Taylor is getting the rock to start that game. The Texans are -190 favorites, and Jaguars are -190 favorite. The Texans are set at +160. The spread is -3.5, and the over/under is set at 46. Now, I'll go first on this one. And what I did just notice is that earlier today it was at 3, and now it's at 3.5. So that line has changed. Doesn't matter for me. I'm going to go off and just say it right now. My best bet is Jacksonville -3.5. I said this weeks ago when the lines came out week one. This was probably a month ago, maybe. I said, y'all need to take this now because it's going to change. And I'm surprised that it hasn't until just now by just half a point. I think that's the best bet, especially without Deshaun Watson. I don't think the Texans stand a chance with Trevor Lawrence in that offense. How do y'all feel about that?
I got to agree with you. I'm a little disappointed. I really wanted to see ETN work in the real season. I think he was going to make a big difference in that offense. That being said, week 1, bad teams play bad, good teams play good. It just happens. And I'm not saying the Jaguars are a good team because by all means they're not. But Trevor Lawrence is a good player.
They'll be sneaky good to bet on sometimes.
The Texans, they have nobody. They have Brandon Cooks, but they got Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor averages 23 attempts per game. Brandon Cooks is not going to get enough volume to be Brandon Cooks.
Right.
They got 7 different running backs, so they don't even know who's going to be getting the ball, the workload. And in my opinion, every running back that really does well, you got to feed him. He's got to warm up. He's got to get going. You're not going to get that in that backfield. I don't think they know their identity in Houston. I don't think anybody else knows their identity in Houston. I would take the Jags with you. I also would probably lean to the under because I don't see the Texans scoring more than 14 points.
Yeah, I'm surprised the spread is this close, to be honest with you. I guess it's, 2 bad teams. I'll give you credit, or I'll give that credit, but I think the Jaguars offense is going to be pretty good this year. The defense look questionable, but
yeah. I agree with you on the offense. Young and fresh. Everyone loves a young and fresh offense, a new quarterback, some young receivers. You got James Robinson in the backfield. I think he's going to have a good year.
I agree.
Assuming that he doesn't get hurt. I know there's some, questionables on the boards, but All in all, I think the Jags are going to win. I do like Tyrod Taylor. I'm biased though, just because he was a Virginia Tech Hokie and I'm a lifelong Virginia Tech fan.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I don't think he's gonna pull it off with Brandon Cooks because, like Nico said, there's no star running backs on the Texans, right? You got Phillip Lindsay, David Johnson, Rex Burkhead,
Mark Ingram,
his name in forever. Can we talk about this new wide receiver signed for the Texans, Danny Amendola?
I remember that.
36 years old.
That's actually pretty cool.
Can we talk about the rookie though, Nico Collins?
What about him?
Got the same name.
Like that name.
All right, so
yep, Jags all day.
What since we're all in agreement there, what we're going to be doing, I didn't tell you all this. We're gonna have a Real Talk Sports parlay. And if you guys agree, this can be our first leg of the parlay. Jags minus 3.5. If
we
only
get all
if you
our
agree.
Consensus before we
everyone has to agree. If no one agrees, no one wants to put it in, we'll move on and we won't put it in. Everyone has to agree. And you can go on a game that we previously, like maybe 49ers minus 8 or 49ers money line, whatever you want to do, but we all have to agree.
Let's make it through these games, and depending on our consensus, I'm down to.
We're gonna put that in our back pocket, all right, and we're gonna move on.
We'll chat about it.
So let's get moving. We got the Seahawks going into Indianapolis to take on Carson Wentz and his new team. The Seahawks are favored minus 145. The Colts are plus 125 underdogs at home. The spread is minus 2.5, and the over/under is set at 49. This is one of the two trickiest games, I think, for this week in terms of betting. How do you guys feel about this game?
I don't think it's tricky on my end, Jace.
Okay.
Another one. Go for it, Trevor.
I don't think it's going to be tricky. I think the Seahawks are going to have a high-scoring offense. Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Chris Carson, a healthy Russell Wilson. I think they're just going to dominate. I'm not going to lie. That's just my opinion. I don't think Carson Wentz has it going on anymore. I don't think we'll be able to take down the Seahawks.
Okay. So when I first looked at it, I thought the same thing. I'm like, Seahawks, 2.5 points. They got to win by a field goal. Their offense is explosive. Seems easy. Their defense sucks. I'm just going to be blatantly obvious. The Colts, the almost opposite. They have no wide receiver help besides Michael Pittman if he decides to blow up. And they got a decent running back. We'll see how Carson Wentz does, back with his old coach for his, almost MVP season with Frank Wright. And they got a great defense. So, like fire and ice going on in this game. So I got a little confused. And again, I go back to random stats when I get confused like this. One thing that I saw is teams that lost in the playoffs by double digits. Seahawks are one of them. Kansas City's another one, just saying. But Seahawks lost by double digits. So you think, they're coming into week one firing hot. They're angry. They want to make up for that. No, they usually fall flat on their faces. According to history, if you lose by double digits in the playoffs, you tend to not perform well against the spread in week one. I know it's only 2.5 points, so I can't put my money on that. It's just too close to call. But what I will do is I'll take the Colts on another teaser. Give me 6 points on them. Make it 8.5. Throw that in with the 49ers. Throw that in with the Bills. Do all three if you want, and take that to the bank.
All right, so we got split decisions so far. And look, I think, like you said, fire and ice. I think that's a very good simile or metaphor, whatever you want to call it. It's crazy because you said the Seahawks defense is awful. What also is awful is their offensive line. So that's something that's going to weigh heavily on the Seahawks. Russell Wilson is obviously one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's got DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett out there. They're going to score. It's a really tough game. Truthfully, I'm staying away from it at all costs. I just don't know how to do, but I'm going to enjoy watching the game. I'm going to take the Seahawks, but I don't love it. Okay. Truthfully, I'm going to look, if I'm betting on this, if I'm forced to bet on it, I'm going to take the home underdog at plus 125. That's a good value. It's a close game. But I don't know, man. I'm torn. I think it's a coin flip, truthfully.
Home dogs. Yeah. I love it.
Home dogs, man. I mean, they bark sometimes, so I guess we'll see. And then moving on now, this next game, this is the other number 2 most trickiest game to bet on, I think, this week. That's the Arizona Cardinals at the Tennessee Titans. Titans are minus 155 favorites. Cardinals plus 135 on the money line. 3 is the spread. Titans are minus 3 favorites, and the over-under is set at 53.5. Another coin flip of a game, but I want to hear you guys' opinion.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I have my notes here next to my computer, and I wrote close game right next to it because it's such a toss-up. I would not bet on this game just because both teams are going to be great. You know, they're both powerful offensive weapon, or both powerful offense. On the Cardinals, you got Kyler Murray, D-Hop. I'm curious to see how they're going to handle the RB situation with Chase Edmonds, James Conner, and them. I think Chase is going to have a good year this year. I hope he does because I might put him in my flex at some point. He's currently on my bench. And then you look at the Titans, right? And you got Tannehill, Derrick Henry, AJ Brown, Julio Jones. It's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a high scoring one, and I'm excited to watch it. But I can't say which side I'm leaning toward. If I had to lean towards a side, I would probably go with the Titans here.
Okay, Nico, what about you?
So, I mean, he mentioned it. He said it's going to be high scoring. I agree with him. So, I kind of lean towards the over. First off, I just want to say these are my 2 favorite teams to play with in Madden. I absolutely love their weapons. They're explosive to play with. That being said, 3 points for the Titans. Titans were a good team last year. Cardinals, not so much. They just had essence of being good. So, if you kind of break it down at first glance, it's a trap to me. I can't get behind the Titans. As I know they got Julio, but it's Julio's first year in that offense. And that offense's receivers run purely on efficiency. And I feel like Julio was a little bit more of a target hawk, when he was healthy back in the day in Atlanta. I really like what the Cardinals have done to their defense. Chandler Jones is back and healthy. They got J.J. Watt. They got a couple other pieces in their secondary. I have a good feeling the Cardinals are going to be one of the most improved teams this year. Give me Cardinals plus 3 and sprinkle a little bit on the money line. Let me put them in an underdog parlay and win some money.
Yeah, so for me, when I think about why the Cardinals will win, you think about, it's Kyler Murray. He's extremely mobile, and he's got a hell of a wide receiver trio. Hopefully, if AJ Green is healthy, we'll see. But I mean, the Titans have a horrendous passing defense. They had one of the worst passing defenses in the league last season, and they lost like 3 or 4 guys this offseason. And it could even be worse this year. So why are they going to, how can that defense hold up against Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins and, and the whole crew? But when you think about the Titans, you got Julio, you got AJ Brown, you got Derrick Henry, the best running back in the league, not fantasy purposes, but I mean, it's arguably the best running back in the league. Dude ran for 2,027 yards last season. It's crazy. That's why it's going to be a coin flip of a game. I am going to lean towards the Cardinals, and if I were to bet on it, which I actually might because I'm starting to like it a little more, I think I might sprinkle some on the money line, plus 135 in favor of the Cardinals. I think that might be a solid bet. My friends in Tennessee, they're going to be a little upset about that, but I don't owe you anything. I'm not a Titans fan, so get over it. But yeah.
Chase, you don't owe him a damn thing, fella.
No, man, I do not. That's how I'm feeling there.
Trevor, go for the Cardinals. Let's put this in the parlay.
Like I said, it's such a toss-up for me. I wasn't really leaning one way or the other. But you got Titans at home with their offensive weapon, assuming A.J. Brown and Julio Jones both healthy, ready to go. I'm having a hard time right now.
Stick to your guns, Trevor. You got to take the Titans.
Yeah, you
can't go in the parlay.
You remember when you did the Scantron test back in, high school? And you changed your answer to a different answer. And
you get the wrong answer.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with the Titans on this one. I don't mind being the lone soldier over here.
It's going to be a really good game, and it can go either way. Truthfully,
I need to wager a beer on this game.
A beer? How about a pitcher?
All right, make it 2.
Make it 7. All right. So we're gonna move on, and that's gonna be Justin Herbert and the Chargers moving into Washington to face Ryan Fitzpatrick and his new team. And I'm a little surprised about this. And I know the Washington football team, they've got a top 2-3 defense in the league, right? but they are minus 130 favorites. I understand it's a home game, but I'm a little surprised that the Chargers aren't favorites here. The Chargers are plus 110 underdogs. The line is set at 1.5, and the over-under is set at 45. I have a best bet here, but I want to hear y'all's opinion on the game first.
Trevor, go for it.
Chargers, I'm in a keeper league. Justin Herbert was my keeper. He's going to have a good week. He's got good offensive weapons now. If Austin Eckler is not healthy, it may sway the game one way or the other, but hopefully Eckler can come into play. And if not, they have a good background of backs, right?
He better be good because I got him in a couple leagues. So.
I think Eckler, assuming Eckler's healthy, I think the Chargers all day. Justin Herbert had a great year last year. I think he's going to have an even better year this year. Keenan Allen on the side. I got the Chargers in this one.
Nico?
Listen, the only thing I got to say is that you don't play with the strings to my heart. You don't play with hamstrings. Austin Eckler is playing with a hamstring right now, and that is the most dangerous thing you could do. If they want him for the season, if he's battling this close to game time, they got to sit him. So what they got is Justin Jackson.
I think Justin Jackson,
Joshua Kelly. Joshua Kelly,
Larry Roundtree, right?
Yeah, that's something fine for a game, bro.
All really unproven. That's my point. Herbert, great. Keenan Allen, great. They got rid of Hunter Henry. Their defense, they just got Derwin James back, so that's going to help them out a little bit. Bose is healthy, so that's awesome as well. Washington football team, I think their defense can take care of all of those offensive weapons. I like Fitzmagic upgrading that offense as well. Listen, ask me this later in the season, and I probably would take the Chargers. But sure enough, for week one, the Chargers are dealing with a new coach and a new offense. We don't know if they're going to meld well. I got to go Washington football team. Gotta lay 1 point to get no juice? I'll take it.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me just him being Fitzmagic it just would be a Fitzmagic thing to have a great game in his first game with the football team. But man, my best bet here is going to be the Chargers money line. It's 1.5, so screw the against the spread thing, man. Just take the money line. I absolutely love the Chargers here. I'm not going to bet against Justin Herbert and what he did last year. Yeah, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. I think Eckler will be good to go. I think everything's a precaution with his hamstring. You don't want to play with it, but I think he'll be okay. Maybe that's wishful thinking, being a fantasy owner in 2 leagues. But I like the Chargers here. I'm very high on the Chargers going into the season. So it's a best bet for me on the money line, plus 110.
Yeah, I refuse to bet on a team that doesn't have a mascot. You guys keep calling him Fitzmagic. I think it's going to be Fitz-tragic this year. I don't think he's going to have a great year. I really don't, dude. I loved him back when he was on the Bucs, Dolphins, whatever it is. I don't think he's going to have a great year. That's just my opinion. I think Herbert's going to come in and just sweep up the floor.
Fitzmagic, he's very baby. Boom and
Fear
bust.
The beard.
Yeah, he's boom and bust though. Like he's gonna have like 3, 4, 5 awesome games, and then he's gonna be absolute garbage, right?
Yep.
That's how he is, though. That's how he is.
And then they're gonna pick up Cam Newton late in the season and put him in.
That would be something. But dude, Tyler Heineke, I think he should be starting now. Look what Heineke did against the Bucs in the wild card round. He played phenomenal. I would start Heineke over Fitzpatrick. I actually would. I don't care.
I love Heineke.
Yeah,
I absolutely love him.
Phenomenal. Yep. He's great. They should be starting him, but it's Fitzmagic. It's his last season, more than likely. So give him the rock, I guess. But Heineke should be the starter, in my opinion. I really wish we could put this in the parlay, but freaking Nico over here, we can't get a whole consensus. I'm trying to get a parlay for my podcast, and you guys won't agree with me. We're gonna
How about this? If Eckler is good to go on Sunday, I'll put it in the parlay for you.
Whoa!
No. You got it.
You can't just spring something on us like that. You got to give us some notice before we go on the air here.
Well, that was 50% of my reasoning is Austin Eckler. I think he's the majority of that offense. I know Keenan Allen's a stud, but having just one receiver does not win you games. You need at least 2 weapons to confuse that defense.
I'm not saying like the Chargers didn't have a winning record last season, but to say that he's their whole offense, look how explosive that offense was last season. Look how Justin Herbert did without Austin Eckler, right?
Fair enough.
Maybe it's another pitcher wager. Who knows?
Yeah, I guess.
Add a third pitcher onto that wager.
Yeah, might as
I'm
well.
gonna be drunk on Sunday.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, you should be. It's Sunday. It's the week one. You should be. I'm getting hammered, bro. Like, you got to be.
I don't drink.
Yeah, right.
Speaking of hammering, what's the next bet?
All right, so we are going to move on, and that is the Vikings going into Cincinnati. The Vikings are minus 170 road favorites, as the Bengals are plus 150 underdogs at home. The spread is 3, and the over/under is set at 47. How are you guys feeling about this game?
Vikings. Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, going to have a powerful offense. I got love for the Bengals. I got love for Joe Burrow. I think they have a great wide receiver core. One of my best friends is just made the 53-man roster as a tight end. I'm sorry, Mitchell Wilcox. The Bengals are not going to win this game against the Vikings. I love you, but he's in this one.
Yeah, so for some reason I'm having flashbacks to early last season. This exact game played out, I'm pretty sure, and I was on the Bengals, and it didn't play out well for me. I also was a big Tyler Boyd guy last year. That kind of worked for me, not so much. Mm-hmm. Now they got Jamar Chase, they got T. Higgins, year 2 breakout. Wide receivers in year 2 tend to do very good. Mm-hmm. Joe Burrow is back and healthy. That offensive line is minusculely better, arguably, maybe.
Yeah.
But Jamar Chase, with that comment, the ball doesn't have the white lines and it's bigger, so it's harder to catch. Like, dude,
how are you a pro?
Like, if you can't handle the upgrade?
That's just bizarre to me, dude. He's hilarious to me. Like, what? That is.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would never make that excuse.
Even if he did, even if that was true, and he thought the white lines were ruining his, depth perception or whatever like that, I would never come out with that news as a starting, wide receiver.
Yeah.
That just makes you look bad. But
yeah, it really does, dude. Like, how can, like, I don't know, man. Like, his coaches aren't going to have any confidence in him catching the ball now, or the fans, really. Like, I mean, now they're probably wishing they took Penei Sewell.
Oh, yeah, 100. Oh, my God. Their team would have been way better with Penei Sewell.
I was begging them to, but they don't listen to the podcast. So
yeah, they'll learn one day. I think this game's going to be one-sided. You're right. Vikings have weapons, and also nobody's talking about what the Vikings did to their defense in the offseason. The Vikings have one of the nastiest-looking front sevens in the league. Not better than the Bears, but close. I hate the Vikings just because they're my rivals, but I love Dalvin Cook. I've always been an Adam Thielen guy. Justin Jefferson looked great. And Kirk Cousins literally is up there in stats secretly. He's like next to Aaron Rodgers in some random stats.
Really is.
I'm sorry, I can't think of his passing yards back-to-back seasons over.
He gets a lot of hate.
Something crazy. Give me the under. Actually, you know what? Don't give me the under. Give me the Bengals team total under. I don't know what it is, but let's do it.
You don't know what it is, but you want to take it?
I don't think they're going to score. I mean, I think the Vikings defense is going to surprise a lot of people.
You don't think the
Jamar
Bengals
Chase sucking and that offensive line sucking won't help.
You don't think the Bengals are going to score?
I don't think they're going to score enough to cover their team total. Their team total, let's see, the line's 48, and it's a 3-point line, so that would mean